What's going on, everybody? Friday here with Friday's Gear Reviews, and today we're diving into something that looks like it came straight out of a sci-fi laboratory. This is the Solar Blueprint coin by Armstrong Metal Works, and this one is made from zirconium, which is a metal that was first designed to be used with nuclear reactors. So let's go ahead and break down why this coin is such a big deal in the EDC and the collectible scene. So the front face reveals a heliocentric dance of planetary orbits intertwined with this mystic crop circle that is each line etched with just this graceful precision. Now from afar, this appears like just a quiet constellation of circles. But when you get closer, the depth reveals itself. Every curve is just a whisper of intention. Every pattern is a testimony to celestial harmony here. Now let's go ahead and look at the backside. So the backside weaves together this personal logo, which is the all-seeing eye, and it's also a tribute to his grandfather and uncle, who were both Freemasons. And without their influence, the skills he has today would never have been passed down, and this also just shows their legacy etched into every detail that he puts forth on this coin. Next, we're going to talk about the metal itself, which is zirconium. This is not your everyday coin material. This is rare, incredibly corrosion resistant, and has this rich graphite black finish, like a mixture here. This was originally used for nuclear reactors, aerospace parts, and now they use it for high-end collector coins, pins, flashlights, even bits on knives. Now, the look is just this cool, dense, and just this serious, cool color that you can't mistake for something like aluminum, brass, or titanium. This is just next level material here. So let's go ahead next and jump into specs here. So this thing is 1 1/8 of an inch wide. It's substantially nice but pocketable. And like this is right here, let's put it next to a quarter. I usually measure a bunch of stuff, but I'm just gonna kind of put it next to a quarter so you can kind of see. So it's really not much bigger than a quarter, but it's just thicker. So, I mean, honestly, you're not really going to feel like this is huge in the pocket or anything like that. But let's go ahead and get a weight on this guy here. Hold on, let's get my scale here. I'm gonna move this down. Set this down just to kind of see what we're looking at for weight here, because it's kind of heavy, but it's a good heft. So let's see right here. So we're at 0.8 ounces, so nothing super heavy. Definitely can feel the difference like between something like a quarter or something like that, but it's really not uncarryable, if you will. It doesn't weigh your pants down. You wear that in shorts and it would be no problem. And like I said, that's due to the zirconium here, which is more of a heavier material. But one thing I will tell you, the texturing here, because this is an orange peel texture, is just an incredible feel. And the other part of this coin that's great is if you kind of flip it in the air like you would like a quarter, it's really satisfying and pretty damn addictive if you ask me. Now, the edge work on this coin is very clean, all done by hand. These chamfers are all done by Winfield Armstrong, who's the maker himself. And it's really got this soft touch to it, but with a matte feel that makes you feel like, you know, I can't put this down, if you will. I mean, because it really is addictive once you hold it in your hand. And like I said, this orange peel texture here is just incredible. It gives it that extra tactile feel, and then the mixture with these milled lines here gives it that extra depth that just makes you want to fidget with it all day long. So let's go ahead and talk about Armstrong Metal Works, or AMW, as a whole. Okay, this company is just this one-man powerhouse named Winfield Armstrong. He designs, machines, and finishes everything in-house. And right here in the US, it makes it even better. You know, because these aren't factory stamped coins. These things are precision milled by a manual do-all. And the thing is too, what makes this great is limited batches. So it's really collectible. And you know, the thing is, once the batch is gone, it's gone. So that's another cool aspect. And like I said, these are manually milled. This is not CNC. I was talking to him about it, and he really is one of the last makers that does everything manually. Most of the people do things by CNC, like I said. So let's get into how Winfield got started on this. Okay, like I said, he's the maker and owner of Armstrong Metal Works. But he got started because he was working at a job that he absolutely hated. And he always felt like this outsider or alien, hence the crop circles there. So he decided to just quit this job and become a machinist at his uncle's shop. And through the teachings of his grandfather and his uncle, he really became, that's kind of what gave him his start to become this, you know, mixture of a machinist and an artist here that we see today. Now, this does have some pros and it does have some cons. Very little cons, but it does, you know, have a few. So let's go ahead and start with cons, just kind of get those out of the way. So this is a premium coin, so it's going to be pricey, but that's just the deal when you're paying for quality work. This one in particular was $275, and that's really due to the mixture of the quality machining and craftsmanship, but the zirconium itself is really expensive. The next con is going to be limited availability. Just because he's a one-man shop, he's doing these batches. They're very small batches, so it's one of those, you got to grab it while you can. And then the last thing on here, and this is kind of a con and a pro, but they're addictive, okay, as I would call it, because a friend of mine sent me this. And after messing with it, I literally bought 2 more of them and a bead from him. So, you know, I told him, I said, man, why did you send me this? Laughing because now I have to buy some. But let's go into the pros here. So this design is one of the pros. And I mean, if you look at it, it's really, really cool. It's got a good tactile feel here. And it's got this scientist or scientific / artistry all baked into one. The next pro is going to be the exotic material, right? What it's made from. And that's going to be the zirconium. That's a really quality material that's going to have that corrosion resistance, but that good heft that's going to make it very, very fun to mess with. The next thing is going to be that precision craftsmanship here. And that's going to be due to the fact that while most people use a CNC, Winfield uses a manual mill. So all of this is done by specifically him. All the circles, all the lines, everything is intentional with this, which makes it super cool. The next thing is going to be rarity. Like I said, that kind of goes a mixture of cons and pros, because if you're a collector, this is something that's cool because you know this is not mass produced. So these coins, once you get a certain type of coin, there's not very many out there, which kind of makes that, you know, a fun aspect, especially, like I said, if you're a collector. And then the last thing in terms of pros is going to be these are made completely in the United States. That's really kind of your pros right there. But final thoughts here. This solar blueprint coin, it's not just a regular old coin. This is a statement piece for people who appreciate science, design, and elite metal craft, if you will. They're not cheap and not common, but that's exactly the point. This is the kind of piece that you keep on your desk as a reminder that craftsmanship still matters, you know? And the solar blueprint coin is for thinkers, collectors, science nerds, and lover of fine metalwork, or lovers, should I say. And then this thing really hits on all cylinders in design, material, meaning, and rarity. If you like this video, please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for stopping by, and y'all have a good one.